An idea to heal a divided America. Trump for president 2022. And white men targeted for death in Georgia. This is the new Cancel This show. This is Cancel This, episode 16, recorded mid-June 2021. I'm your host, Yo Grabba Gabba. Cancel This, the show that fights back against cancel culture and annoys the woke folk. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. You can like our Facebook page, facebook.com/pavementroadproductions. Subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button. You can email the show directly at pavementroadproductions@gmail.com. That's pavementroadproductions@gmail.com. So a lot to talk about this week. Another jam-packed show. I'm not even going to get to all the Putin, Russia, Biden, G7 stuff. Maybe a little. But I have a lot to talk about, so I'm going to dive right in here. First topic today is a bold new idea that will never happen, but a great way to undivide the country. No more political parties and no more media. So the media is, if you listen to anything or watch anything, legacy media, news, it's all biased. And the thing is, right, they did a survey. They asked CNN viewers what they think of CNN's coverage. And CNN viewers said, majority of them said, at least the liberals who watch it, which is almost all of them, said that they think that CNN is biased towards the right. So CNN is too conservative. They lean conservative. That is shocking to me. Shocking. To me, it's become, and it's true now. Look at somebody's newsfeed on their social media, right? Everything, people only want to listen to things that they believe in, they agree with. Right? No one wants to hear the other side. I like hearing the other side. I like hearing what they think. You can't really avoid it, when you come from, my background, right? That, you can't really avoid hearing the other side because everything is the other side. Fake. I saw a bumper sticker for Fox News for when the facts don't matter. It's funny because who's been sued more for defamation in the last 5 years, Fox or CNN? CNN's paid millions and millions of dollars in defamation lawsuits, millions of dollars. But the narrative is that Fox lies. People don't want to hear what they believe in, and the fact that people who watch CNN think that CNN leans right. That is just. Obviously they've never seen anything else. They've never seen any other shows or any other coverage or anything. Because that is. There's no way that CNN leans right. They watch Fox News, and Brian Stelter's whole show. He's the media guru, right? He watched Humpty Dumpty. He watches Mr. Potato Head. He watches he watches all the other shows. His whole thing was to bash Trump. Now that Trump's gone, his whole thing is now let's watch Fox News and say everything that Fox News did wrong. It's like the end of pardon the interruption, right? They go through some of all the mistakes that the guys made in the last 30 seconds of the show. That's what his job is now. His ratings have dropped 72%. Because you can't sit there and fact check Trump. You have to fact check Fox News, and nobody cares. If they want to watch Fox News, they watch Fox News. But you're the only one who's smart. You're the only one who's bright enough to answer the questions, right, Stelter? It's crazy. He fact checks Fox News as if he's the smart one, as if he's the one as if he's the authority on all things lying, right? He can say who's lying, who's not. He's the one who will tell you the truth. It's pretty ridiculous. But I want to kind of go a little bit more to the party side of it. No more political parties. Political parties, I think, really, I mean, obviously they're way too powerful. I mean, we know this. You know, when's the last time a not Democrat or Republican was elected? And when's going to be the next time a non-Democrat or Republican is elected? I mean, Bernie Sanders was an independent, but he's a socialist. So he's definitely on the right. But he's, you know, he ran it for the Democrat nomination. I mean, he's a Democrat. And he didn't win anything anyways. But either way, so that's I mean, no more political parties. I think the big reason that there are political parties right now, obviously they're powerful. They control everything. The party bosses decide who runs and who doesn't, and all those things. But a big part of it too is people aren't smart enough to know the difference. I mean, if you go down a list, like I remember when Obama was running against McCain, they went down a list of policies, and the people were voting for Obama, who admitted to voting for Obama. They went down a list of policies, comparing the two, and pretty much everybody who they talked to in this interview, in this show, pretty much everybody they talked to said that they thought McCain's policies were better. And they found out their McCain's policies, and they say, "Oh, we don't like McCain." Well, why not? Oh, because it's Obama. You know, and because Obama, he's the first black president. Okay. But nobody was educated on what the topics actually were, right? They may have, I saw somebody earlier, and they said they were very pro social justice and pro all these things and feminism and gay rights and all these things, but yet they hate the unemployment, they hate the economy now, they hate all these things that are going wrong. They hate the rate of inflation. They hate the taxes going up. They hate the fact that the debt is so high. Okay. So you're voting for all the things you're against. You're voting for all the things you're against. Because you see the D next name and you have to vote for the D. If it wasn't for political parties, people would have to actually do their own research before they voted. And they probably wouldn't, so either they wouldn't vote because they're too dumb to do their own research, which is fine. We want them voting anyways. Their votes are just canceling out the votes of people who do know what they're doing. And I remember when I was younger that the can't get out the vote campaign where it's like, go learn the topics and go vote. Now it's not learn topics. Now it's just go vote. Now it's just if we can just overwhelm the people who know what they're doing and know the topics and know the candidates inside and out. Let's just get people who don't know what they're doing, just overwhelm that. If you interviewed all those people who voted, right, the 81 million people who voted for Biden, I guarantee you half would have no clue what he stood for. Because he didn't even say what he stood for. And if it wasn't for A, the media, and B, the political parties, he would have had to. Because he couldn't run as a Democrat. There would be no Democrat, no Republican. You'd have to actually hear what he was talking. He'd have to actually say, I stand for this, I stand for this, I stand for this, instead of just being the alternative. Instead of just being, I'm not that guy. Because there'd be like 7 other people that you could vote for. There'd be lots of other candidates. And yes, it streamlines and makes it easier, whatever, to know who each person is and whatever. So you're not getting, the president's not winning the presidency with 17% of the vote. I get all that. But come up with a different system then, if that's what we need to do. But political parties are not good. And the media is not helping. So an article today, this is the only really Putin stuff I want to talk about. The USA Today, their article, one of the front page stories. After Biden and you could tell the Biden and Putin meeting was a disaster by this headline. Just by this headline, it said, "A fan of sunglasses, of aviators. I think a fan of aviators. Biden provides Putin with his own pair." So how well did everything? If everything went great in the meeting, you have been hearing about what a great job Biden did. How he was so great. He was so charismatic and outgoing, and he did all these great deals and put Putin in his place and made the country stronger by his meeting. But that's not what the headline was. The headline was Biden gave Putin sunglasses. So How well did it go? Obviously not well. Based on that. Because anytime they can sing his praises, they're going to. Biden got all mad at the reporters for asking him difficult questions. I don't even think they were difficult. They didn't seem difficult to me. It certainly didn't seem like they were, tough questions. But, again, they're asking him something he wasn't prepared for because he has to prepare for 6 months. I mean, the speech he gave after the Putin meeting was probably written like 6 weeks or 6 months ago, like 6 weeks ago, right before they even went to Europe. I mean, it's not good, and the media and social media, people see what they want to see, and it's all biased, and social media is going to skew it one way or the other. And there we are, and here we are. It's a tough time, and when you have people like the mainstream media, I mean, they just any story that doesn't fit their narrative, they don't run with. And I really, really think if we had no political parties, honestly, try it for like one election cycle, 1 4-year term, no media. People have to actually, they're not going to have it easy access to media. They have to actually go look it up, what they're looking for, find the information, and no political parties. So they have to, all the candidates, there's no Republican or Democrat. It's just, here's this person, here's what they think, here's this person, here's what they think. And you can still do that. You can still list off all their policies, all their thoughts, what they think about the different topics. Of course, that's what you want to know. But it's not just like a blue or a red. It's you have to actually look and research it. I'm all for people getting out to vote. I'm all for that. But at what cost? If people who have no idea what they're doing, no idea who they're voting for, no idea any of the topics, they're just voting because they're supposed to. Well, you're not. Voting is not the easy part. Voting is the easy part. Voting is not your job. Your job is to know the topics. Your responsibility is not to vote. Your responsibility is to know the topics of what you're voting for. And again, the media makes it all too easy. I mean, countless stories. I think there was kind of like 8 or 10 huge stories that the media just either flat made up or spun so hard that they weren't in the same story. I mean, look through the stories. I mean, you want to know what's going on. The media will just not cover stories. They'll just not cover things. That's it. We're not covering it. We're not doing it. We don't care. Who cares? You have to dig to find the stuff. So why don't we even the playing field? Make both sides dig to find the information. Hunter Biden called people the N-word. Hunter Biden has been saying derogatory slurs about Asians. Can you imagine if that was a Trump doing that? What the coverage would be. Hunter Biden is now an artist, by the way. He's selling his finger paints, in essence, his garbage work for all this money, hundreds of thousands, for like, I think, was it $500,000 for a Hunter Biden freaking fever dream? Are you kidding me? On paper? A Hunter Biden fever dream on canvas for $500,000. You really think he's not going to introduce his dad if somebody bought his work for $500,000? And that person, because they said all the purchases are going to remain anonymous. So like maybe a big donor to the Biden campaign, maybe somebody who really wants to influence the president. Hey, Dad, this guy just bought my painting for $500,000. Why don't you say hi to him? I'll leave you two alone. Ridiculous. But the media's not going to cover that either. No. They only cover what fits their narrative. People being shot in the streets. I'm going to talk about another story in Atlanta that the media is not even talking about. So it's not a. I mean, there've been mass shootings in Chicago every day. They want to have all these mass shootings, and how it's always a white man, except it's not. Especially in Chicago, it's gang related. 4 or 5 people getting shot in the streets a couple times a week in Chicago. Over the weekend in Chicago, there was 8 people shot, 4 were killed, 2 are still in critical condition. Is media talking about that? No, because it was a black shooter. And it's always the white guy with an AR-15. Except it's not. And when it's not, they don't cover it. So a great way to fix America: make people do their own research. Don't give them the easy answers or the slanted biased BS. Make them go look for it. And get rid of the political parties, so we have to actually find out what each person stands for on each topic. If you're really big into gay rights, if you're really big into immigration, if you're really big into the economy, abortion, anything, gun rights, if you're into any of those things, each person should have to give what they stand for, and they don't have to toe the party line. They don't have to be like, well, I don't really stand for that, but my party does, so I kind of have to. No, they can just do whatever they want, and they can have 12 different people who all have slightly different opinions, and you can vote for the one you want, the one who most aligns with yours. And if you're a 1 or 2 issue voter, then great. You can find that person who aligns with that the most, who's the strongest on this, and you don't have to worry about the rest of it. The lack of media, and a lack of political parties, I think would go a long way. I really do. So here's a story I heard. I'm gonna switch gears here, talking about this other thing. I heard this story. It's pretty insane. I can't really even imagine that it could even happen. I mean, I think the odds of it happening are, less than 1/10 of 1%. Like the odds of a healthy person dying of COVID, basically, with no pre-existing conditions. Don't fact check me; it's true. Check it out. Look it up. And this thing I heard, and it's within the normal possibility. It is legally possible. I don't think it's likely. Like I said, I think it's less than 1/10 of 1% chance of happening. And I really don't necessarily even want it to happen, because it would if the world country wasn't divided, this would do it. This would put the wedge between the country and end it all, and it'd be over. This would be it. This would be the first shot of the Civil War. This is it. And I don't want it to happen. As much as I'd love to see the left faces melt, like opening the Ark of the Covenant at the end of Indiana Jones, as much as I'd love to see their brains just fall out of their heads and melt because they're baffled and blown away and shocked, as much as I'd love to see that happen, I want the country to be irrefutably destroyed by this. What am I talking about? But I'm not saying it's going to happen. I don't necessarily want it to happen. It's just something I heard, and I had to share it. It's just such an amazing thing, and it's so crazy that it could even happen. Though I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's likely to happen. I don't think anybody really wants it to happen. But the idea was pitched. I thought it was great. In a very watch the world burn type of way. So obviously in 2022. There's a lot of elections. The Senate, there's a lot of Republican seats up in the Senate, so they'll have to do a good job to hold those and then flip the Georgia seats, or whatever. Raphael Warnock, he'll probably lose. So it's going to be tight. The Senate's going to be tight, for sure. The Senate's going to be tight in 2022. The House, I think, has Republicans have a real good shot at taking in 2022. I mean, just based on the fact that there was the census and all of the blue states lost representation, the red states gained representation. I just find it very, I think just that alone will help the Republicans quite a bit. But there was a theory to the major Trump supporters, major Trump fans, that was pitched to them, and I find it very interesting. What if, instead of running for president in 2024, which I don't really necessarily think he should, Trump, I think he should, take all his support and go behind, throw his support behind a candidate, somebody, whatever, whether it's a DeSantis, whether it's a Mike Pence. I'd see them, mend that fence. Whoever, somebody, even a Kristi Noem or whoever, Candace Owens, even, whatever. I don't think he will do that. I think he'll run again, but I'd kind of rather him just kind of build a long-lasting coalition. Either way, instead of him running for president in 2024. there was a theory pitched of why doesn't he run for Congress in 2022? Go, pick a Florida Senate, a Florida congressional seat that is he'll easily win. He would win probably most congressional seats in Florida, especially as a former president running for a congressional seat. Runs for Congress, wins in an easy district, and then how is the House Speaker selected? Well, it's the majority party selects whoever they want. It's a secret ballot. They vote for whoever they want. So if the Republicans take the House, Nancy Pelosi is no longer Speaker of the House. They have to elect a new one. They would anyways in 2 years. So they vote for a new congressperson, and a new Speaker of the House. And if Trump becomes a congressman and the Republicans take the House, they could vote for him to be majority leader. Obviously, it would look like it would probably be McCarthy at this point, right? Kevin McCarthy, because he's a minority leader. But it could be very easily be Trump as the majority leader. So then how does the succession of the White House of the presidency go? It goes, President Biden, Vice President, or in this case, co-president, because they basically have one brain they share, Harris, and then it's currently Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House. Well, if Nancy Pelosi is not Speaker of the House anymore in 2022, Congressman Trump is. Then he as Speaker of the House, he opens investigations into Biden and into Harris, and impeaches both of them. And you know what? If they can impeach Trump for a phone call to Ukraine, there's a lot more you can impeach Harris and Biden, like a ton. If you wanted to impeach them, you could. It wouldn't be hard. There's plenty there. And then if you get enough, again, you have to get enough senators, so that's gonna be hard. That's gonna be the hard part, obviously, is getting the senators to do it. And again, I'm not saying I want this to happen because it's just opening Pandora's box even further than it already has been opened with the BS impeachment stuff from the Trump administration. So you're going way down this rabbit hole that you don't want to go down, and again, you're destroying the country along the way, and it's bad. It's a really bad idea. I just find it hilarious. So he has enough, again, getting the senators to do it, but either way, you get the votes to impeach them. You're opening these investigations too, and guess what? If again, and Democrats would never vote their conscience because they don't have consciences, but if they found enough evidence, Biden, he by 2022 he may not be president anymore. Who knows? The way he's cognitively declining, he could step down. So then you have Harris, and then Speaker of the House, and then after she has to appoint a new vice president. But who knows how that's all going to go down? You impeach them. You have places to impeach them on. If you can get enough evidence to it's obvious, and you make it so toxic that the Democrats can't not vote to impeach, and risk losing their Senate seats. Because the evidence is so clear, which is how it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be a 2/3 majority to impeach, because it's supposed to be so obvious that the person did something illegal. It's not supposed to be a partisan issue, and that's what they made it into the last years. But if they did that, they had enough to impeach. They impeached Harris, Biden, whatever, both. Speaker of the House becomes president. He's the one who's leading the investigation. He becomes president, and he's president in 2022, 2023. So that's why, again, 2024 to become president. Is that going to happen? No. Should happen? No. Don't want it to happen? No. But it would be hilarious. If you ever wanted to see something just like all the screaming liberal memes of them just crying about everything that happens in their lives, you want to see that happen, this is the way to do it. I mean, just take that, multiply by 100, and that's what would happen with President Trump in 2022. And I guess, okay, definitely 2023 before he took over again. Fine, whatever. But that would be quite hilarious. That would be quite hilarious. And that's how the system works. And again, impeachment is not supposed to be a partisan issue. It's not supposed to be, well, we don't like this guy, so we're going to impeach him. I mean, there has to be, it should be overwhelming evidence. They should almost to the point put it to the people to vote, on whether the impeachment should happen. Like, have an election with the people get to speak. If they overwhelmingly say 70% of the people vote that the president should be impeached, then Congress can go ahead with impeachment. There should be another barrier at this point. Obviously, that's why the Senate has to be, again, 2/3 to actually remove a president for impeachment. It should be egregious. It should be obvious. Not just because you don't like him. You don't like him. And that's what the Democrats have turned it into. So it'd be nice for them to get a nice, solid taste of their own medicine. Finally, a story here that, again, nobody's talking about. In Atlanta, 3 people were shot by a black man with severe mental health issues. That is not really necessarily the story. The gun's not necessarily the story. But the story is that they asked him why he did it. When they captured him, they asked him why he did it. And he said he just doesn't like white people. He hates the white men. And that kind of goes, again, back to the whole thing with media. And, media is vilifying certain other people. Critical race theory. I have heard more black people speak out against critical race theory than any other race. It's supposed to be a theory that elevates them. But those who are smart understand that they don't need elevating. Black people don't need elevating. They're already elevated. They're already on the same level as everybody else. It's like telling people you're too dumb, you're too stupid, you're too whatever to do anything on your own without my help. You need me. I don't think they do. I don't think they do. Crazy liberal. Elitist white liberal. The black man doesn't need your help. They don't need you to lift them up. They're already fine standing on their own. But again, critical race theory tells children, especially young children, that if you're white, you're bad. If you're black, you're good. And the only way to be good, and if you're black, you're a victim. You'll never become anything in your life because the white man's gonna keep you in the way. So you should hate them. And the white man, you're no matter what you do, even if you're the nice person in the world, you're evil because you're white, and you need to give up everything you've done, and just disown your family and tear down the country. Like they say, oh, the system's broken because the system fails people. Yeah, the system does fail. Systems do fail. That happens. Criminals get off and good people go to jail. That happens. But tearing down the entire system doesn't make it any better. That's not the answer. Fixing the problem is the answer. Cutting off your nose to spite your face type of thing, right? Nuking an anthill, right? Because you don't like what was said, or how somebody reacted to you, or a policy that was put into place. So you have to burn the whole place down because you don't like one thing about it. How about you just work to fix the one thing? How many BLs there were saved by BLM? If BL is really M, how many of them were saved? Because it's not about that. All these, gay rights. People in that community have the same rights as everybody else. What are we pushing for? Why are we having a whole month? What are we raising awareness for? Biden's saying the greatest threat to America is white supremacy. Do you think that's dividing the country at all? Even a little bit? Mr. Unity? Your hot, sticky unity all over the place? You're not unifying anything. That's stupid. White supremacy is not... Okay, find me white supremacists. Find me one. Find one. I don't know any of them. I don't know one. But a white supremacist is anybody who disagrees with Biden. That's a white supremacist. Because Biden's not white. He's like the whitest president we've ever had in our lives. He's the one whose kid uses the N-word on a regular basis. He's the one who eulogized a Klan member. He's the one who voted against desegregation of schools because, quote unquote, he didn't want to turn the schools into a quote unquote racial jungle. His words. Telling black people if they don't vote for him, they're not black. Because they can't think for themselves. If you think for yourself, you're not black, according to Joe Biden. And now we have white people being shot in the streets for being white. Does the media talk about it? No. Are they going to blame Joe Biden and ask him why his rhetoric is causing this? And the people who work for him and all those things? No. It's okay. It's fine. Because judging people based on the color of their skin is all that matters these days. You know, Juneteenth became a national holiday. That's great. But at this point, they should just get rid of the Martin Luther King holiday then. Because they don't believe his words at all anymore. The only thing that matters is the color of people's skin. Content of character be damned. All cops are racist, even the black ones. Because if they're a black cop, then they're part of the oppressive system and they're actually white. It's terrible. We've gone way, way too far. It needs to swing back the other way. You know, I said it before on the show. I had a black man come into my business, and he asked me why he's supposed to hate me. I didn't really understand what he was talking about, but he was saying, he said, you know, all the media and social media and everybody's telling me I'm supposed to hate you because you're white and I'm black. And I don't understand. Like, when we were younger, you're the kind of person I would hang out with on the bus. We'd be friends. But now all of a sudden, I'm supposed to hate you for some reason. That's not what my life experience tells me. My life experience tells me I shouldn't hate you. My life experience tells me that we're all people. We shall coexist. We all shall live together. The political party of peace and love is actually a party of hate. Critical race theory is racism. Believing one group is superior to another is racism. Believing that, well, we have to cut down white people so that black people can grow. No, black people don't need your help. They can do whatever they want. If you want to help them out of poverty. Don't cut down a white person to make... It's like, sorry, black person, you can't do it on your own, so I have to modify the world for you because you're too dumb to do it on your own. No, not true. Sorry, try again. Hard work and sacrifice is what makes you successful. Not the color of your skin. Luck plays a part, but it's not the main part. If you work 2 jobs or 3 jobs, you're going to be able to have some money. If you learn and try to improve and try to grow yourself personally and professionally, you're going to get to where you want to be eventually. You may not be a billionaire. You may not be Joe Biden or, you know, millionaire like Bernie Sanders. You may not be a millionaire, but you can have a good life. Working hard. Sacrificing, not just demanding it. But until we stop looking at people out on the outside and start looking at them on the inside, we're never going to get to where we want to be. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/paperproductions. And like our YouTube channel, youtube.com/paperproductions. And like our subscribe right there. You can comment away, share the post. If we get some good comments, some not some good comments, some likes, some hate, it's all good. If you disagree with me, that's fine. All I ask is that you let me speak. And you can comment and I'll let you speak. I won't take down your comment. I'll let you say whatever you want to say. You call me all the words you want to call me. Email me, say all the stupid things you want to say to me. That's fine. That's how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to be able to disagree. And it's not supposed to hurt your feelings. Again, like our Facebook page, facebook.com/paperproductions. Subscribe. Email show paperproductions@gmail.com. A lot more coming in the next weeks and months ahead. Hopefully we can get one out every single week because I'm really busy with working and upcoming wedding stuff and all that. But we're going to keep getting the content out and hopefully you keep enjoying it. As always, thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon. The next show we're doing around that time will probably be 4th of July, so that's exciting. Thanks for listening as always. Until next time, bye, Dan.